Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The packed courtroom buzzed with attention so thick it felt like every spectator was holding their breath in unison. The air heavy with whispers of betrayal and greed as the judge's gavel slammed, demanding silence, and at the center of it all sat Kody Brown. Arms crossed, jaw clenched so tight the veins in his neck bulged, and beside him, Robyn Brown with her meticulously curled hair framing a face that was a masterclass in faux innocence, her eyes darting toward the gallery where Janelle Brown sat stiffly in a tailored navy blazer, her lips pressed into a firm line as she clutched a manila folder stuffed with evidence that, if the whispers were true, could blow the lid off one of the most shocking betrayals in Sister Wives history. This wasn't just another spat over Coyote Pass or passive-aggressive shade in a confessional. This was about life savings, decades of hard-earned money, carefully set aside by Janelle through years of sacrifice, penny pinching, and calculated budgeting, all of it allegedly siphoned away in a web of deceit orchestrated by the couple who had once smiled across her dinner table. The story, as her attorney laid out with the precision of a surgeon making the first incision, began years earlier when Kody, desperate to maintain his sprawling polygamous image while the family's TLC contract wavered, turned to Janelle with what seemed like an investment opportunity too good to pass up. A family trust that would secure the future for all the kids and unite the family financially, so they'd never again have to worry about debt. Robyn, standing behind him at the time, nodding like the supportive wife, chiming in about how we're all in this together, and this is for the family's legacy. But buried in the fine print of the paperwork Janelle signed was a clause that shifted the account's control entirely to Kody, with Robyn as the sole co-signer, something Janelle didn't think twice about at the time because after all, these were her family, and in plural marriage, trust was supposed to be the glue that held everything together. Except as months turned into years, Janelle began noticing small discrepancies in the financial statements, withdrawals labeled as household expenses that didn't match her meticulous records, and then came the bombshell when an anonymous source, rumored to be one of Kody's own children, slipped her photocopies of bank transfers showing hundreds of thousands quietly moved from the family trust into a joint account under Kody and Robyn's names, funds that were then used for lavish vacations to Sedona, designer jewelry orders for Robyn's online boutique, and most infuriating of all, a down payment on the $890,000 Flagstaff mansion Robyn had insisted they couldn't afford, without sacrifices from everyone. The betrayal simmered until Janelle, her patience shattered, hired a private forensic accountant, who uncovered the full scope of the scheme. Over $415,000 drained from her portion of the account in just 3 years, leaving her retirement fund gutted and her dream of building a home on Coyote Pass dead in the water. When confronted privately, Kody allegedly smirked and told her the money was always the family's, and that she shouldn't be selfish, while Robyn deflected with tears, claiming she never looked at the accounts, and that Kody just did what he thought was best. But the paper trail was ironclad, and so Janelle, usually the calmest and most even-keeled of the wives, shocked everyone by filing a civil suit not only demanding full restitution plus damages, but also accusing them of fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, and emotional distress, allegations that turned this into the most high-stakes legal showdown the Brown family had ever faced. The courtroom was electric as Janelle's attorney projected bank statements onto a giant screen, line by line showing the money trail, while Kody fidgeted and Robyn's eyes darted nervously, her usual confidence crumbling under the weight of the evidence. At one point, Robyn broke into tears so suddenly it startled even the judge, claiming she was blindsided and never knew about the transfers, but Janelle's lawyer countered with receipts of her signature authorizing several withdrawals, each time with notes like personal emergency or special purchase, which turned out to be everything from antique furniture to a $12,000 sapphire necklace. Whispers rippled through the spectators section, and even some of Kody's children in attendance exchanged incredulous looks, the unspoken thought hanging in the air. How could they do this to Janelle? Kody's defense strategy unraveled further when the forensic accountant testified that several large withdrawals coincided with Robyn's boutique restocking dates, suggesting the couple used Janelle's funds to front their failing business without her consent. By midday recess, the courtroom steps were swarmed with reporters, Microphones shoved in Janelle's face as she gave a measured but pointed statement. This was never about revenge. This is about accountability. And if I have to fight in court to get back what's mine, I will. The afternoon session was even more explosive, with text messages entered into evidence showing Kody warning Robyn to delete anything with Janelle's name on it, and joking that she'll never figure it out. Messages the defense tried to dismiss as out of context, but which landed like grenades in the minds of jurors. The climax came when Janelle took the stand herself, voice steady as she recounted years of loyalty and trust shattered, her eyes locking with Kody's for the briefest moment, before he looked away, and the room seemed to hold its breath as she concluded. I built my life on the belief that family meant safety. I was wrong. By the time the judge adjourned for the day, the media frenzy was in full swing, headlines screaming, "Sister Wives Scandal. Kody and Robyn accused of stealing life savings," while fans online dissected every courtroom detail, from Robyn's trembling hands to Kody's refusal to meet Janelle's gaze. And though the trial was far from over, the tide of public opinion had already turned, with hashtags like #JusticeForJanelle and #RobynExposed trending across social media, and whispers that TLC executives, horrified by the optics, were reconsidering the couple's future on the show. Yet in that quiet, heavy moment after the gavel fell, one thing was certain. No matter how the verdict landed, the carefully constructed image of Kody and Robyn as the golden couple of sister wives was cracked beyond repair. And for Janelle, who walked out of the courthouse head high despite the storm swirling around her, the fight was no longer just about money, but about reclaiming her power after years of being underestimated. A fight that fans suspected was only just beginning, with more secrets poised to spill before the final judgment was handed down. As the next court date loomed just 48 hours later, the city of Flagstaff seemed to buzz with anticipation, not just among locals but among the national media outlets that had descended upon the courthouse like vultures circling a fresh kill, each desperate for an angle, a soundbite, a flicker of raw emotion from the notoriously private Janelle, or a sign of cracks in Kody and Robyn's united front. And yet behind the scenes, in the dimly lit back room of her attorney's office, Janelle sat across from her legal team reviewing a fresh trove of documents that had arrived anonymously in a plain envelope with no return address. The handwriting on the front scrawled in thick black marker simply reading, "She deserves to know the rest." Inside, she found what looked like internal boutique invoices, private emails, and even a blurry cell phone photo of Robyn and Kody seated at a bank manager's desk, dated just months before the lawsuit was filed, holding pens over what appeared to be a transfer authorization form, their smiles frozen mid-signature, as though the camera had captured not just a moment, but the very embodiment of smug self-assurance. The invoices revealed yet another layer of alleged deception.